Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Jennifer Doyle, and I'm a co-founder and the Vice President of Customer Success and Support here at InspectPoint. I am going to be moderating today's presentation. I am joined by Drew Slocum. He is a fellow co-founder and the Vice President of Business Development here at InspectPoint. He has a lot of great information that he's going to share with us, and he's going to show us the product. But before I turn it over to him, I have to go over some housekeeping. We are going to be going through a lot of information, and we're going to have roughly 15 minutes or so at the end of the presentation today to answer any questions. So if you have anything that you would like to ask in regards to anything that you're seeing, drop those questions into the questions area on your GoToWebinar control panel, and then we will try to get through as many of them as we can at the end of the presentation. If we don't get through all of the questions, do not worry. You will get an answer, and they'll just be addressed through email. Also, just want to throw this out there too, that if at any point you would like to have a private demo of InspectPoint to really dive into some of those questions that you have, please email sales@inspectpoint.com to get that set up. And without further ado, that is all of the information that I have to share. I am going to hand it over to Drew now, and he is going to walk you through today's presentation. So Drew, it's all you now.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. And thanks everybody for joining. I've been very excited about this for a couple weeks here since that we announced it. So again, this is going to be a very concise demo. We're trying to keep it to 30 minutes, couple quick intro slides, and then just dive right into the product. Like Jen said before, the best way to see the platform is in a private demo with myself or my team. We'll run through all of your specific questions, your specific business, also the different areas of the country or the world you're in, because different fire jurisdictions have different rules. So again, highly recommend that private demo. So yeah, let's get kicked off. So this is who I am. Like Jen said before, I'm the VP of Business Development and one of the co-founders. Been in fire protection for about 17 years. Currently reside up here in Connecticut. Worked with Tyco started my career with Tyco actually, and then went to Viking Minimax after that for about 4 years. Currently the executive director of the New York Sprinkler Association, as well as actively involved in a lot of trade associations, including I'm actually on NFPA 915, just got anointed to that. So that's a new committee for remote inspection, which is some of the future technology coming down the line. So really excited about that. So let's hop pretty much right into the platform. So InspectPoint, I want to go through our full workflow from start to finish. We really encompass everything in fire protection, from inspection to your customer interactions to quotations, over to dispatching for service technicians to clear those deficiencies for your customer, to service those systems. And then we can even invoice with our platform or push it out to other ERP platforms, which is very helpful as well, because we're not going to be an accounting platform. So let's let those accounting platforms do their thing. Anyway, full encompassing workflow, and I'm going to go through that right now. So there's two pieces to InspectPoint. There's the back office piece, which you see here. Admin, salespeople, service managers, owners, senior technicians can be in this view. It's all web-based. Anywhere you have access to internet, you have access to the back office. The technicians or inspectors or field personnel are on a mobile device in the field, an iPad or an iPhone. We've partnered that way for a variety of reasons. Again, we can get into that on your private demo. But two pieces of the platform, back office web piece here, and then you have the technicians or the inspectors on the iOS device. So what you'll see here is sales.inspectpoint.com. This is my my private secure portal for the sales team essentially. Engineer Fire Protections, my fake company that I have set up. Pretty basic dashboard here. Going to give you some details about the different inspections for the month of September that we're looking at here. We have a variety of different stages that the inspections move through, reoccurring inspections we can set up for a number of years. So this is just a nice overview for the month. For service and inspection dispatching, we're great for that. We have a bunch of screens, one being the calendar view here. We can push this out to a Google or an Outlook calendar as well. You have your whole team set up here and can kind of see where they're at for the month. This is interactive, it's drag and drop. One of the new features that we had and launched probably beginning of the summertime is this scheduler. And we're continuing to build on this month to month. But what this is for, if you have a larger technician team, or if you just want to take a peek at all of your unassigned inspections and you want to just drag these into a specific technician, it'll populate there. So great for work orders, great for unassigned inspections. So a lot of ways to schedule and dispatch. Next, moving down the list, the left-hand side here, is the buildings. And buildings are essentially what fire protection is all about. We start at the building, we break it down to the system, whatever type of system, whether it's fire alarms, sprinkler, suppression, extinguishers. And then below that, we have subsystems, assets, or devices. So we kind of break it down that way. That's how fire protection is set up. And NFPA is kind of set up that way as well. Your full list here of all your buildings, we can import these when you start with our platform. Name, address, city, state, zip. We can convert this as well into other, if you're not in the US, we can easily customize this to wherever you're at in the world. So I'm going to bring up this building that I've created, and it is US Open Week, so I'm a huge golfer, big golf nut. So Wingfoot Golf Club, one of the best courses in the world. That's the building we're going to be doing the inspection at today. So I clicked on that, and you see a variety of tabs in here. So we handle any type of fire protection sector, sprinkler, alarm, extinguisher suppression, and they're all different. They're all have different workflows. They have obviously different NFPA codes that they're referencing, and they're a little bit different. So we treat them all a little bit differently as well. So in here, we have our general info tab, generic info about the building. We have some notes that are going to be sent out to the technician. We can assign salespeople in here. Systems and assets. This is more NFPA 25 or sprinkler and backflow. So I've got a wet system, a dry system. We get very deep into it. We can look at the control valves, all the different sprinkler heads on each system, fire pumps, foam systems, everything more complicated in the NFPA 25 side. Suppression systems, this is dry and wet chem, NFPA 1717A kind of style. So we have all that in there. Alarm systems, NFPA 72. Or if you're in Canada, ULC, we have a great ULC platform for this now, ULC 536 and 537 for the verification side. We really break this down and with all the devices as well. So we can grab all your devices in here. Essentially, this is a CSV to import those in. And we actually do import a bunch of different panel types out there. We're always working on new panels to add to this. So pretty powerful. Special hazards, that's CO2, clean agent, and water mist. So a little more specialty for those contractors. And then down here, we have a few other fire protection sectors, fire dampers, exit signs, doors. I'm going to focus on extinguishers for this building, but we break those down into groups. So I have some in the pro shop and some in the clubhouse, and I can kind of quickly review those here of what we have. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to schedule out an inspection to the iPad. So I'm going to create new inspection, click new inspection here. Now I can set up a reoccurring inspection for this building for all the monthlies and annuals and quarterlies over the next 5 years. So it'll automatically populate to your technician's calendar. I'm just going to do a one time just to show you. We'll come down, select frequency. That's important in our process because we're going to be taking a lot of the questions for those fire protection sectors for that frequency. So we're going to ask the annual questions versus quarterly or monthly or 5-year. We go all the way up, as you can see here, to 5-year. So I'm going to do the pro shop and the cart barn for the sprinkler system. I'm not going to do the suppression system here. I will do the fire alarm, and then let's do both extinguisher sets. One thing to note, and I don't know if it turned on here, we do have a full California feature for all the California forms for sprinkler and suppression. So all the Title 19 AES forms, very important for the California workflow, specific to obviously the state of California, but it's like no other out there, and it's beyond the form. It's a full database sending deficiencies back. Again, book your private demo if you want to see the full California workflow. So I'm going to save that. It's going to dispatch it out to Drew Slocum, the technician. So at this point, I'm going to pull up my iPad here to my screen, and you should be able to see my iPad here. So I'm already logged in on my iPad as Drew Slocum, the technician. I'm connected to my Wi-Fi and my data plan here. We always prefer a data plan, but you don't need access. We are fully offline. So if I'm going to load my inspections for the day, that's going to pop in Wingfoot. So if you look at that here, we're doing the, looks like the sprinkler systems for the pro shop, the cart barn, the Potter fire alarm system, and the 2 sets of extinguishers. We've got the on-site contacts here. We got Shooter McGavin and Phil Mickelson, who I'm definitely rooting for this week. Got some notes over here. Make sure to grab a hot dog at the grill. All fun stuff. But I'm going to click inspect. That's going to flip it sideways for readability purposes. We're then going to move through all the different question sets for sprinkler, fire alarm, and extinguisher. Again, if you just have one sector you're working on, you're only going to see what's there. What's nice in our platform is we can, as a technician, we can pull the full history of all the deficiencies that haven't been closed out. This is very powerful to the technicians because we're pulling in all this from the database, a full history of what's happened, so I can kind of see what's going on. We're also going to see this as we move through our question set. So general questions, again, we're pulling a lot of this out of NFPA templates that we've kind of created for a bunch of different years within the platform. We can customize this view to make sure your technicians are clicking on all these. So it's a yes, no, NA question. If it is a no, it does mark it as red here. What is nice is for the technician, it's going to pull the history of this FDC side. So this is a deficiency that was not resolved in the past. So we can quickly mark that up again. It gives the reference to the NFPA code for that year, and we can configure that accordingly for you. What's nice is I actually can pull the history of this deficiency. So I did this the other day, but I'm going to bring in all the old photos and the old notes. So it's really very efficient for the technician to move with this. I click save, it saves that. You know, we could toss another one in here. No, I can talk into this as well. I'll just call this damaged. I can toss a photo, I can take a photo. That's just on my laptop here. Click save, I could give it a deficiency status, all that fun stuff. So these are just general questions for the sprinkler system. These are all configurable by the user. If you don't like our question set, feel free to change them. All the different wet system questions that pertains to wet. Dry is different. We have dry system here. So they're going to be a little bit different questions for that annual inspection. Again, I'm not going to jump into this right now. If we go into the systems, this is going to show our control valves for this wet system. So is it opened, is it signed? And we can configure a lot of this accordingly. We do have some barcoding ability. Barcoding is available throughout our platform. We do not charge for it. It's customized, and we can really curtail it to your business, and we can show you how to do that. Again, I'll show you that on the private demo if need be. IT valves, we got the sprinkler heads. Hey, I've got some quick response heads that, you know, don't have to be tested for another 10 years. But some a static residual flow test, I can look at previous results and pull those in pretty quickly. And I can click done. Off to the dry system. Again, dry system's a little bit different. We're doing a dry valve trip here since it's an annual partial trip. What's nice is that each system, we also can write up some corrections. So while the technician is in the field, we can write up some quick corrections while they're on site. I'm not going to write it up as a deficiency. I'm just going to FDC cap replacement. I'm going to do that. I completed that on site. Let's bill the customer for that. Now we can show pricing here, or we can hide it from the technician. That's very configurable from our end. We can even give the ability for the technician to customize the price themselves. Again, that's business to business. We have to, we'll work with you on that. So I just added an FDC cap, and I'm not going to write it up as a deficiency. So that's sprinkler off to alarm, a little bit different workflow. We have all the different system information, all the different panel checks per NFPA 72 are in here. And again, this is all configurable as well, but we pull a lot of this from NFPA 72, pass, fail. What's also nice is we can pull that full alarm device list. And in here, we have our full alarm device list. There's a lot of different ways to filter this because we know that fire alarm inspections, sometimes you have thousands of inspections. So there's a lot of different ways to filter this, initiating notification, all that. We can even get into barcoding if you want. Barcode actually pulls up right on the iPad camera itself. And then we have a Bluetooth scanner that pulls into this as well. I didn't have anything tagged, but if I did, it would pull up that specific device that we're working on. It's an active, a install date. I did a visual functional check, pass, fail, pass this one, off to the next one. Graze it out that we've completed that. And then obviously you could filter out everything we haven't completed. So fire alarms works very well for the very large inspections down to the smaller inspections. So that's fire alarm real quick. I'm gonna get out of here. Again, there's a lot of details in an NFPA 72 system or an inspection. Going to go down to the extinguisher side. So if I pull up Pro Shop extinguishers, what's nice here is we see all the extinguishers that we're doing for this inspection. This little red bell here is something we added probably over the last 9 months. Essentially, it's going to pull up any red bell will show up if there's a 5, 6, 12 year or next service date that's due. So it looks like everything is in good working order here. Usually if you're scheduling out an annual, you're going to have to do those anyway, but again, for demo purposes, I wanted to show that. But what's nice is I actually can pull up my extinguisher here on the floor, go up to the serial number. Hopefully I have it tagged, and I do. So that's going to pull up that specific extinguisher. 6, 12 year look good. Last service date, let's select today. Next service date. Again, if you want to do this, that's great. If not, you can leave out the last and next inspection. Down here, we have kind of our recommendations per NFPA 10. Again, if you just want to say pass, fail, that's perfectly fine. Everything's yes. With extinguisher, we do this a little bit different. So we're doing the inspection, but we're also doing the service right away. You know, we're either doing a replacement, a tag and seal, maybe doing a wall mount, and we have multiple service items we can do. I'm just showing the top 5 here, but I'm going to do a tag and seal at this extinguisher. Click done. It leaves it and grays it out. So we could also add one in the field. Another nice feature here. I'm getting in a little deep here, but we actually can pull a bunch of different model numbers. So this is pulled up. It's a 5-pound Badger ABC. It's going to put it into my list already. So you can add this in the field and it adds it down there. So we have a lookup on a bunch of different manufacturers with the model number. So at this point, I'm done with the inspection. Usually it's going to take longer, but for time purposes, I'm going to move forward. We're going to click review and complete, and it's going to show all the deficiencies that I've written up in my inspection. Going to have some photos here, going to have some notes. We also have a proposal summary of some of the work we did. Again, the pricing's hidden right now, but that's tagged in it'll be sent to the back office in a second. We can grab some signatures from the client, from the technician, and send this back to the office. Put the technicians in here, click done, finish inspection. It's going to save it to the iPad. I could have been offline that entire time. Once I am back into coverage, you probably already have coverage a lot of times. I click send to office and mark complete. It's going to fire it back to the cloud. And coming back to my screen here. So this is my back office view. So if I click anywhere, or if I refresh this, what's going to happen, I'm just going to click over here, and I have 290, now I have 291. Little bell rings, we can automate an email to that team. Click here to review that inspection. Took 8 minutes to complete. We can see a map of that as well. We can see a map of where that inspection was started and stopped. This is in waiting review. I'm going to generate that full report to review that quick, but I also could review this down here. I can generate these separately as well instead of having a full report. But I can come down, review everything that was done, review the 2 deficiencies that I had, take a picture of the photo, review the photos, resolve these out as well. So I'm going to generate that full report real quick. That's going to take about 30 seconds to do that. I'll complete this out. So if I come over to the reports page, it's still generating. Again, it takes about 30 seconds for that to create that PDF. We have a public option, so that's the customer portal. If you want your larger customers to have access to their reports and proposals or invoices with you, we can give them access, read-only access to that. We can automatically blast it out to the customers within a couple clicks. And if I just download this, I'm not going to get too detailed in going through the report. Again, see that in the nice private demo we can set up with you and your team. But everything's kind of done per the NFPA kind of criteria, or whatever criteria you have. All the deficiencies are at the bottom with code references if need be. And then we have some nice signatures. So coming back to the inspection, we also have a proposal link. So this is some of the work that we did in the field. So it says $50 right here that we did in the field so far. I'm going to add to that. So I'm going to come in and edit this proposal. You also could create a proposal, right out of the box. So a brand new proposal, maybe for a contract or something. So I'm just going to call this Wingfoot, call it a deficiency quote. I have a lot of that information in there already. Click next. I can add material to this. So a newer feature for us is we have, a full material listed here. So if I wanted to add an FDC cap, just type that in. I already have the markup and my price in there. So very powerful. And we're going to start very soon to partner with some high-end manufacturers and suppliers to upload material lists and your costing into here, so you can really dial in your profitability, or just get something ordered right out of the gate. So here's that FDC cap replacement. I did a tag and seal on one of the extinguishers. But what I also can do is I can add a deficiency that we found with the code reference right on here to the proposal. That's a lot of money, $10,000. Tax will automatically populate for you for your current area, current jurisdiction you're in. We can add a summary. You have a bunch of different summaries in here. You'd have all your terms and conditions for different work that you do. Click next. Off to the different photos. So the proof of the FDC sign not being there, or the cap not being there. So I can toss that in here. And something pretty new that we just recently added, we actually can now toss the inspection report right with the proposal. Super powerful. Our high-end customers see that if they send their inspection report, as soon as they send a proposal, they have an 80 to 85% increase in quotes being accepted. So very powerful. This is the proposal. It's going to have a link to the report as well when this goes out. There it is right there. So I'm going to click save and send. And I'm actually going to send this to Shooter McGavin, who is Jennifer right now. See, she's going to review it quick for me. So that's going to go out to the client. You're going to see it was created at 11:21. It went out for quote at 11:25. Now, what's nice is if we look at all of our proposals here, we're going to see, oh, somebody just viewed my proposal. Must be Jen was right on top of it. So as a salesperson, as a service manager, you can really see where all of your proposals are as out to your customers. So if I just, let's go back over there. Let's see if she accepted that. What's nice, you'll get into the little alert here too. You'll get into a little alert when this has been accepted. So if I click back on this, I can see that, thank you, Jen. Best proposal I've ever seen. So you can kind of see that the customer has viewed that. At that point, we actually come down and convert this into a work order or convert it straight into an invoice and push it to an ERP. I'm going to convert it quickly into a work order, show you what that looks on the iPhone real quick. Call this per ITM report, problem description, FTC cap, replacement. Create a visit for Drew the technician, make that due by the end of the week, and then click next. There's a bunch of screens here. I'm not going to go through that. I'm just going to create that now. So I dispatched that out to Drew Slocum the technician, and what I'll do now is, let's see if I can mirror my iPhone to the screen. There we go. There's my two little guys and my wife. So I click on inspect point. So if I refresh this, you know what? I got to log in and off again because I must have not updated my app. So it's anything that's scheduled to me. So this is what the iPhone looks like. Here's the work order that I just dispatched. So we're doing an FTC cap replacement. I've got the material needed. I got the part number. Here's some service items in here. I've got the deficiency. I've got the on-site contacts. We also have some inspection reports that we can pull up and refer to. But pretty simple. We've got what we're doing. We've got some proposal, the signed proposal. Here's the material needed. So I'm going to add that to my visit. I could pull from a bunch of different items in here as well. I could pull from the whole database, but again, I'm just doing a quick FTC cap replacement. We've got some work performed. I can, type this in here. You can also talk into this very easily. So that's always nice. We grab some time as well. So you can have a bunch of overtime and everything tagged in here. Hey, this took only an hour. Save that, review and complete. Everything looks good from the technician's point of view. Again, we can hide some of this pricing in here if need be. We can collect a signature. But I'm going to finish that visit. Do we need to follow? Probably not. It's a quick FTC cap replacement, but if it did, we'd have that in there. And now I'm going to complete my visit. Click yes. I'm going to come back out, and then we got to fire this back to the cloud and the inspect point piece. So at that point, if I come back into here, you're going to see this is completed now. At this point, we can push that into an invoice. I'm not going to get fully into invoicing right now. We have a light invoicing platform, and we can export this into a CSV, and we interact with a lot of different ERPs. Highly recommend seeing that private demo for that. So I think that's it. I went really quick on everything. Again, if there's any questions, feel free to holler that out right now. While Jen is looking up some questions, I'm going to show you some of these fancy analytic reports that we're always working on to kind of really look at your business overall. So, Jen, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Perfect. Well, thanks, Drew. That was a really good overview of the product and of the process and the flow that you showed. We have a good amount of questions, so I'm just going to kind of dive right into them. So one of the questions was, do the new customers coming on, do they have to enter in all of the building information when they're setting up the building? Or is that something that can be imported or handled by our team?
No, great question. So when we onboard somebody, we work with the contractor, the facility, to import a lot of that building and contact information. We're very easy to use CSV templates that we can get that in there. Beyond that, we can even dive in and help you start importing some of your. We help you. We won't do a lot of the systems and assets, but we have templates to get a lot of that in here for fire alarm, for extinguisher, for sprinkler. So we definitely help on the buildings and contact side, and getting you over from either another platform or if you have it in Excel currently.
Perfect. Perfect. Quick question too. Are we available on Android devices?
Great question. We are not. We are iOS only, iPad and iPhone. A lot of that is based on efficiency and development speed. We come out, the development team does not want me to say this, but we come out with about 10 to 20 new features every month. And if we were on other platforms, it would take a lot longer for that. The ease of use for technicians on an iPhone or iPad are by far the best. And tablet-wise, iPad is by far the most used. So.
Perfect. Perfect. And then is there a specific file format? I think you kind of touched on this, and it might have been after this question came in, but can you just kind of discuss really quickly importing of the devices and the file format that would be needed to import devices
Yeah,
into
sure.
the system?
Sure. Let me pull up Wingfoot here. We're really bummed I can't go to that tournament this week. So that fire alarm system here, we have all the devices in here. So very easily, this is a basic CSV. Address, location, device type. Really, those are the three fields that we need. Again, you can get deep into this. I didn't mention it, but we do have full Joint Commission capability within the reporting. That's where that scanning really helps. A lot of Joint Commission and healthcare facilities want to see when you're at each device. That being said, great for healthcare for scanning, but I don't think you need it for every inspection. Does a Burger King do you really need to scan every device there? We have the ability, but we leave it open to the user. So I know I didn't fully answer your question here, but we do have an import of a variety of different panels. I know we have Siemens, EST, a bunch of different EST panels, as well as working with different manufacturers. I think we're working with Potter right now to get theirs in here. So that's always evolving.
Perfect. And then I know you also sort of touched on this quickly just with that initial dashboard screen as well of the different statuses. But does the office get a notification when the technician submits the inspection back to the office? Is there any sort of notification or indication of that inspection report coming back?
Yeah, so we can automate an email to the team, but as you see, we have this inspection. You'll see that ring up here where it is in waiting review. And that would actually go into this need review queue as well. I have a lot of older stuff in here I probably should clean out. It would also come up into this waiting review category. So you'll see that come immediately back. And again, we can automate an email to the team as well, so they can quickly get that sent to the customer.
Perfect. Perfect. I think too, this one we just weren't able to show the general flow because we have a separate instance for California. But someone was just wondering if they're able to generate inspection reports for California in the specific format that they need.
Yeah, I just jumped to my California portal real quick.
Okay, perfect.
So actually a cafe in San Diego that I've been to before. Hopefully it's still in operation, but if I create an inspection for this, so the workflow is a little bit different. You won't see sprinkler systems and assets here because it's all form-based. Hopefully California gets away from that at some point. I don't think they are. Looks like they're redoing their form set here soon. And we'll be on top of that when they do create that. But essentially it's an external form for them. And we have a variety of different forms. I think there's about, I don't know if everything's here in this portal, but I believe there's about 22 different formats, and obviously we have the cover sheet that's needed, but we have all the different forms. And what's nice, I would highly recommend that private demo because there are some advanced features for California, because we can take prior inspections, pre-fill the form of what happened last time. That's really important on that quarterly and annual side. Plus, every deficiency that comes out of that California form is put into our deficiency management platform, which goes back into here. Speaking of deficiency management platform, couple teasers I want to get to. Jen, I don't know if you want me to do this or not, but I'm going to. We're working on a few big partnerships. One with a third-party platform, where there's a lot of third-party platforms for AHJs in the industry right now. We're great at inspection and deficiency management. Why can't we just push it into those third-party platforms? You know, Brycer, the compliance engine, is one of the largest ones. So that should be coming here soon. Not sure what the due date on that is yet, but we're ready to go, and we're really looking forward to that. So
Perfect. Perfect. And I'm glad too you mentioned the pre-fill on the California forms, because that's a big feature that a lot of our customers help, or that they like. It helps complete the form in the way that they need it. So that's a good feature. We got a couple questions about GPS. When they start the inspection, when they end the inspection, is there any sort of GPS location that appears when an inspection report is started or sent back to the office?
yeah, so what happens is you'll see, this is the one I completed earlier, took 8 minutes to complete. I can show that map. So it'll show when it was started and when it was sent back. So this is the map that we're seeing, and it's just somebody really wants to stalk me, they can find out where my home office is. So that's where it was started and stopped. I really didn't move. So that's kind of the nice GPS. And we're not looking to track technicians or anything. I think it's more powerful to show that your customer that you were actually there, because especially in these days, day and age, with you don't want to have too much interaction with a client because of all the restrictions, that you can prove that you were there. So that's pulling from the device. Data plan is highly recommended for that. I don't think there's another way to do it. So data plan on the iPad, and obviously the phone, you have connection. So great question.
Yep. We have a question about if we have an open API. So if they were ever looking to create any sort of connection with another software that has an open API, do we have an open API as well?
We have an API that we can write a specific API to whatever software that you need. We've done it probably a dozen different times with different software platforms out there. We'll probably be doing that with that third-party platform as well. So we were developed off an API. We can talk to a variety of different softwares out there. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let me see. We got a lot of really good questions. Some about pricing. And so I don't know if you want to talk about pricing now, or if that's something you'd rather discuss on a private demos with people. But people are just wondering about pricing and how that works.
Yeah. Basically, I'll say it now, but private demo, get into that. But we don't really deviate too much from that here. If you do have a very, very large company, we'll work out an enterprise deal with that. But we charge per technician. Full back office, from this point of view, everybody's free in there. We don't charge for that. We're only charging for technicians in the field. They're on the mobile device. So that ranges from $99 a month. We do bill this annually, so we do break it down monthly, but it is billed annually. So $99 a month all the way up to $129 a month. Essentially, this package is inspection. Gold is the proposal features, which is very powerful. It's going to get you more service in the door. You might not need it as a facility if you're not doing service work. And then platinum, that's full on package of Inspect Point. That's the work order feature. That's the material. I really didn't get into the material that much, but we have some really advanced workflows coming down with the material side. So really excited about that.
Oh, Drew, I've got a good question that transitions right into that. So I've got a question that is, can users import or use their own list of their suppliers for the pricing? So can they import materials?
So I pulled it up quick. We have this material database. So and you can kind of categorize it by yourself, pull all the sprinkler stuff, and I have everything in here. We can import this in via CSV. So if you put it in our format, we can dump it into here. All the costing, you have your markups in here. What I am working on currently is working with strategic partners, manufacturers, and suppliers to automatically send you that file whenever they change pricing. Which is super powerful, keeps you up to date with all your profit, and make sure you're making the right margin on each product. And then there'll be some advanced features with that, even getting into a purchasing workflow. Again, another teaser.
Let me see. I know we are a little bit over, but we do have a decent amount of more questions. So let me just see. I'm just kind of going through. How does this work with subcontractors? So how would you go about if you're working with subcontractors, assigning inspections to them, or working with subcontractors and using the InspectPoint platform?
So how we can do that is you could set. I'm going to pop to the calendar view. You could set a subcontractor up as a technician user. So that subcontractor would have to log in to their specific instance within your inspect point. They would only see it on the mobile device, but you would dispatch them out. If they're doing extinguishers for you, you would dispatch that out, whether it's on a monthly basis or the actual day. They would then complete that work. It would then fire back to the portal here. But you would set up a specific technician or maybe a couple technicians within your instance for that subcontractor. Probably coming in the next 6 months, we're working at a potential bigger offering for that, but that's how you would do it currently to date.
Perfect. A question about, and you had mentioned the code references. One question in regards to, does the inspection list the code reference for the deficiencies, both on the iPad and then also on the report for the customers to see?
It does, and I have this on the report right here. We work with multiple years with multiple different codes. Again, we bring a template kind of per NFPA that we've developed. We've looked at a lot of different things. We have consultants look at that. So we bring the actual code reference in here and every year, especially in NFPA 25, sometimes that changes. So we're on top of that. I go to a lot of those NFPA 25 meetings. 72 and 10 and 17, 17A, 2001, they don't change too often, but we do stay on top of them. But yes, it shows to the technician. It shows you here on the report. It actually shows you even on the proposal, which is very powerful because then you're kind of proving that to your customer.
Perfect. And then if you just want to actually stay on that, the next question that we have is in regards to capturing signatures. So if you just scroll down a little bit further, I think that'll answer this question is, do we capture the signatures of the customer out in the field?
Yep, we've got the signature here. We can also grab that from the proposal side as well. So if they're signing off on a certain amount of work to be done, but this is on the inspection side. We can put your terms, we can kind of edit some of this so that your customer signing off on your terms. This is just something quick that we have in our portal. But
all right, perfect. And then this is another good question. We kind of showed this workflow pretty quickly, and I think it might be a great opportunity to hop on a private demo for this one. But can you kind of talk about the transition from the inspection to the billing side of it? So can you convert an inspection directly to an invoice?
you can, yeah. So if I click on the inspection that we were doing before, so I can create this. I can create a proposal for this. I can create an invoice this. I can create a work order for this. So if I want to just convert this one into an invoice, which we do have an inspection price in there, I would click on invoice, and there's that, an annual inspection for that. So I can save and send. I'll just save that, and then I'll put it into my invoice platform. which should put it over here. At this point, you can export that into CSV, push that into a variety of different software platforms. Now, we do have that API connection that, again, that's more advanced, where we will push and pull via our API. Again, that's more the enterprise level. And it's really out of scope within our current platform, but we can work with you on that.
Okay, perfect. And then because we do have a couple of questions just about specific invoicing software and sort of how that, how we would interact with those. So once again, I think that'd be a great topic, and I can give that information to you, Drew, after the fact about how
Sure.
some of these specific invoicing platforms work with InspectPoint.
Right.
One question too about that Bracer integration that you teased about. So wondering if there's an ETA on that Bracer integration that you mentioned.
I'm not going to give an ETA in that because this is recorded. This is a recorded line. Our platform's set up for this. We have all the deficiencies broken down into here. We have all the inspection reports. We're ready to go. It's a kind of waiting on some of the third-party platforms to catch up a little bit. My hope is we're kind of down the road with something later this year. I think that's going to probably get pushed into early 21. Now, that's going to, you know, every jurisdiction is a little bit different. Luckily, compliance engines, you know, they're great guys to deal with on the software side. So we have a good relationship that we'll be working together on that.
Perfect. And then just one more about the barcodes. And this would be something that I actually have to test too, but you might have a run into this a little bit more. But barcodes and QR codes, or is it just barcodes?
No, it's barcode and QR. So the iPad and the iPhone read both barcode and QR. So we have an external scanner called Socket Mobile that we partner with. You can buy them on Amazon for a couple $100. It's a Bluetooth right to our app. The newer version of that reads 2D, so it reads QR code. The older version of Socket Mobile only read the straight barcode. But yes, the iOS devices read QR. It's just, you gotta make sure you're by the right Socket Mobile external one if you're using that.
All right, perfect. And then kind of piggybacking on that, one more question about the barcoding. Any barcodes work, right? They're not required to buy anything from us. How does the barcodes work in regards to getting those set up?
Any barcode works. We could even read another barcode software that does inspections. We can implement that right into here. Essentially just dumping that right into our, you know, I'm pulling up a fire alarm device, but we have a barcode field here. As long as that a barcode is, the link is put there, or the barcode, we will read it, whether it's QR or just straight up barcode. Now, what's nice is if you want to get into barcoding, might as well create a nice fancy barcode with your logo and kind of your nomenclature for that. So it's kind of little branding for yourself as well. Again, we can work with you on that. We can recommend like a printer or barcode software, but it's pretty simple. You don't have to buy them from us. You know, go after it. Start stickering everything up.
All right, perfect. Well, I think that might be most of the questions that I think would be great for kind of on a general level. I think some of the questions that came in, they are really great questions, Drew. So I'm kind of excited to get them over to you. I think that they'd be great questions to dive into on that private demo. So I'll make sure that you get those questions. So when you get on the phone, you've got all these really great questions that have been asked. And a lot of great questions about the barcodes, specific to, just as a teaser for you, some questions about blocking off time on the calendar, and really getting into specifics on their business process flow. So like I said,
Sure.
lots of great questions are still out there that I will get over to you. Let me just see. If there's any other last minute questions that anybody has, feel free to send those over. I will keep this up. So if there's any additional questions that you send over, they're not going to be lost. At the end of this, all of your questions will be sort of emailed over. And like I said, we'll reach out to you to get those answered and to set up a private demo with you. Drew, do you have anything else to sort of wrap up with before we end today's presentation?
Not really. I'll put my
All right.
contact information again. I didn't mention it before, but we have a podcast, the Fire Protection Podcast, started about a year and a half ago. We don't really talk about InspectPoint too much. It's more new technology. A lot of industry leaders, a lot of new technology. I recently had Amerex on to talk about the state of the restaurant industry with what's going on in the world today. So really cool to talk to a lot of leaders and get their perspective on where the market is moving.
Perfect. And that is available on all major podcast
Everything.
platforms,
Yep.
correct?
Spotify,
Perfect.
iPhone. Yep. Everything.
Right. So make sure you subscribe to that. All right. Well, with that said, I think we have we've covered a lot today. So like I said, I will leave this up for a couple more minutes. So if you do have any additional questions, they're going to get recorded, and then we will reach out with responses and try to get you on that private demo. If you do want a private demo, maybe you have some questions, but you haven't sent them over and you want to talk to someone, email sales@inspectpoint.com and we will get that private demo set up for you. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you for joining us this morning. And like I said, any additional questions, reach out at sales@inspectpoint.com. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.